There are hundreds of gold stocks that are ridiculously undervalued today. It's going to be highly profitable. I think we broke the back of the manipulators. The demand for gold, this physical gold, overwhelmed the paper guy. I think silver's been manipulated for at least 50 years. We got shorts on the COMEX for 850 million ounces now. It's not going to be good for Canada for sure. It's not going to be good for anybody.
Eric Sprott is back with major insights into the gold and silver markets, why he's still backing Newfound Gold, and how silver's true potential could send it soaring. He explains why, with gold at $3,000, silver should be $200, and breaks down the surprising impact of US versus Canadian politics on the resource sector. If you're in the metals game, this is a must-watch.
I think as we look now back at gold, it went to 2,000. This is the fourth time, went through, boom, 3,000. I think we broke the back of the manipulators, okay? Because the demand for gold, this physical gold, overwhelmed the paper guys, okay? And I think they probably realized it. I think silver's been manipulated for at least 50 years. Same thing. And now we've got these, we got shorts on the COMEX for 850 million ounces now. Like, it's almost obscene that someone would think that was a smart bet when you look at all the data about the demand for silver for the various industries. And one of them that's really come to light, I saw a presentation by a gentleman from McKinsey, and he's looking at the developments in the car market in China where, you know, they're suggesting they can get an electric vehicle that can go 1,000 kilometers, and when you refill the battery, it takes 5 minutes. Well, voila, that's going to solve the concerns we had, you know, a year ago about electric vehicles, which there were many concerns about it. But I think the outlook for all the metals that have anything to do with the batteries in cars and storage batteries, storage batteries, and it's not going to be good for the stock market for sure. It's not going to be good for Canada for sure. It's not going to be good for anybody. And we see that even now, okay? So in this quarter, I don't know what the S&P has gone down by, but let's say it's gone down by 10%, and gold stocks have gone up by 25%. Well, there's a 35% difference right there, and you can feel the interest in gold and silver. And I think the more that market comes under pressure, stock market, the more people have to find a place to put some winning bets. And so far, it's been gold and silver, and of course, everything we see for the prices suggests that will continue. And I've said many times before, I mean, I really rely on Oliver, MSA Security. He's Michael Oliver, and he's the guy that I think's had it nailed the most for both precious metals and the market. And the market was a little delayed. He thought it would have gone down quite a while ago. But it's sort of matching up with what he expected, and I think he's expecting a rather sizable decline given time. And of course, he also believes there'll be a huge rally for gold and silver, and you know, he's posited that gold could get to 8,000. He's posited that silver could get to whatever, a couple of $100. And that would be the theory that I buy into. I think the theory holds together. I can't even really manage 200, and I buy them because, okay, they got X, and I think it can go to 5X or 10X. We'll just wait and see if and when that happens. And I rarely sell anything unless it's so cheap that I have to give it away, or somebody actually does pay up for it.
Yep.
And, you know, next thing you know, some guy's writing a big fat check. So I'm and generally the portfolio does okay, so you can afford a hiccup. I mean, when I look up what my loss is on Newfound versus what my gain recently was in Discovery, that's probably up 3 or 4 times what I just lost in Newfound. So, you know, Eric's going to be okay. And Eric had to be very patient in Discovery too, right? They were trying to get a permit down in Mexico, and all of a sudden, you know, the thought was we'll never get a permit again. I think that's probably changing now. But then Tony did that transaction, which was earth-shaking, and next thing you know, everybody loves Discovery, and what was a 60-cent stock then goes to a $2 stock. So, well, I've always said it's about the grade, okay? Because the profit margin on an open pit at 7 grams is probably 5 grams. The profit margin on a 1 gram ore body, maybe it's a half a gram. So this is 10 times more profitable per ounce versus a 1 gram ore body. And of course, with a 1 gram ore body, typically you got a lot of capex too to get a 1 gram ore body to make economic sense. Whereas you don't need huge development to make a high grade thing with a decline, go do some underground mining, and away you go. And as I said, I think the grade's going to be higher than the 7.7 grams when they mine it. So it's going to be highly profitable.
Yeah.
Like it's 10 times more profitable than a 1 gram ore body. Well, maybe they don't hear much about it. You know, you go to some of the chat lines, and there's a lot of anti-Newfound chat on the various chat lines. I think it's orchestrated, quite frankly. So, you know, that someday this is going to go away. And it's going to go away because all these gold stocks are going to go crazy. I mean, and it's not as though there aren't hundreds of gold stocks that are ridiculously undervalued today. I mean, ridiculously undervalued, where I can sit and look at the thing, oh my God, that could be trading at, 1.5 times cash flow 6 months from now. And it is trading at 1.5 times cash flow 6 months from now. Nobody's doing anything about it. I mean, I try to stay in there and press a bet, but there's so many stocks. Like I wouldn't even buy a stock at, 0.2 times NAV because I think I can find it at 0.1 times. So the market just hasn't adapted. Nobody's really into to precious metals much yet. My own view is the stock market's probably going to trade down here. I think we'll go into a bear market. People are now finding it difficult to find an area that they can be comfortable in. Mag 7's not working. I'd rather suspect AI is not going to work like people imagined it. The whole market starts giving it up. And of course, what's the best performing group in the first quarter? Oh, precious metals, funny thing. Why is nobody investing in it? And you can almost sense that nobody is investing in the stocks yet. Well, of course, when it's meeting a company, there aren't too many critical things to give you the macro sizing. Okay, what are your resources? Then one of my favorite, well, how big do you think it can get? Knowing full well, he'll probably say it's 5 or 10 times bigger. And I got to discount that and figure it out or ask him why he thinks that. But once you know kind of what resource he has, and then you can maybe figure out the timing of when it could possibly come into production, which is not an easy thing to do because of the jurisdictional problems and all that. And then, of course, in my mind, I'm saying, okay, well, let's see if that guy could produce 100,000 ounces of gold. He can make $200 million. Wow. What's his market cap? 72. Oh, that's a pretty good deal. He can make 3 times what the market cap is today if and when it comes together, let's say 5 years from now. I don't mind. I can wait the 5 years. Look what my payoff's going to be. The guy's going to make $200 million 5 years from now. He might trade at $1 billion.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, his market cap's $25 million today. Like that's a big payout. Whatever my top 5 or 10 at the time are, and study them. And it's like when you read anything from someone in my position, I'm hoping I get one tidbit of information that I didn't otherwise have. Mm-hmm. That somebody said something about an ore body that I otherwise didn't know, or, maybe somebody writes about one of my companies, gee, they have some antimony in there that they've never been paid for before. Oh, okay. That's a good thing to know. I didn't know they had antimony. That, of course, the price of antimony's gone crazy here, and I could do the math and see what the change might be if they finally get paid for the thing, that sort of thing. So you never know what you're going to come across reading a chat line because you got a lot of disparate views there. The 43-101, well, obviously, I would have imagined in my mind it could be substantially bigger than that. But I also know, and I've spoken often about the whole 43-101 process and how, when you've got high-grade nuggety gold, you really take it in the chops in terms of cutting and things like that. Mm-hmm. So, but they say what they say, and I'm going to imagine that the high grade was 1 million ounces just for the sake of rounding here, okay? And it was at 7 grams, and it is open pit. And I feel pretty confident that we'd probably mine that for certainly less than 2 grams. That would be $200 a ton to mine, which I can't imagine it being that. So if you can make 5 grams, you'd be making, let's say, on a $4,300 gold price. My God, you'd be making well over $3,000 per ounce mined. And if you got 1 million ounces, that's $3 billion of pre-tax profit. So I take some comfort in the fact that we all knew it would not be good. And the markets reacted the way they want to react. That's perfectly understandable. But I think we all know that this company keeps putting out stellar results. Every press release is pretty incredible what they find. We got a huge area of 106 kilometers. There haven't been many disappointments in terms of drilling. I'm sure that when we get to, hopefully we get to mine that in a bulk sample or test mining or something, that grade that we mine will be considerably above the 7.7 grams that was estimated. So we'll just have to stand by and see how it proceeds. I hope that we can somehow get a permit to start mining quickly. You might even know more about what the likelihood of that is than I do. I don't know. But I hope that the new people, we have a whole new group of people, Paul Hewitt, the chairman, Keith Boyle, the CEO, they're incredible. And new directors, Chad Williams is on the board now. So we're going to restart things. I think there's a wonderful story in front of us. I really do. And, hopefully time will prove that to be the case.
If you found this insight valuable, smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update from the experts. Drop a comment below. Where do you think gold and silver are headed next? Let's talk. Thank you.